Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about using the box squat and accessory leg work and good mornings to build your back squat. Because this is something I've successfully done. It's something I've done with many clients, and what I mean by, with many clients, I'm talking stuff like taking guys who are stuck at a 420 squat who weigh, 170, 180 pounds and getting them up past 500. Without wraps, without knee sleeves, completely raw. All right, this is the stuff that I do with a lot of lifters. And so people will ask me, what are the methods that we use for that? And I'm going to show you guys just some of the supplemental stuff that we do. And so you guys will see me, some of my lifters, other things using belt squats, leg presses, hack squat machines, in some cases, single leg exercises, right? Anything that we can do to build the quads, the adductors, the glutes. And I'm not saying things like our back and hamstrings don't matter. They do, they're just not our primary movers. They're basically very, very, very important stabilizers. And so we shouldn't neglect those. But I do want to highlight these primary tools because these all build the primary movers that we need for hip extension, knee flexion, everything else. So when we look at the box squats, you notice some of my people do speed boxes. I do speed boxes. Most of my conjugate lifters don't do any actual rep work on their squats. And if we do it in phases because they really want to. They want to break from some of the other stuff. And they don't have access to many tools. We'll do it sometimes, such as if one of my guys only has a leg press, hates single leg exercises sometimes and needs a break from it, and say they're in a crowded commercial gym where it's a lot of work to use up plates on the leg press. They can't even always get enough plates. We'll switch these things out. But otherwise, we'll use stuff like the leg press. We use single leg exercises, belt squats, in conjunction with the box squat. And so with the box squat itself, I tend to have my lifters, once they're past being a rank novice, only do speed boxes. We don't actually do heavy rep work. We'll do max effort work sometimes, so you guys don't see me do that. I actually do, these days, most of my ME work with back squats with different bars, maybe with chains for my max effort stuff. But I tend to do singles on back squat variations, and that's how I approach it. However, the rep work itself is done with speed boxes. Right, and you guys will notice the form that you see Emma using, you'll notice the form you see Mike using, and I really prefer bands or chains for these things. And so we don't really do that much actual squatting. And I mean, I have clients who do, who run 5-3-1 variants, might work mode training, stuff like that. But generally outside of those clients, I don't have my lifters do that. Right, I don't have my lifters do that. We do speed boxes. And our speed boxes are very rarely above 50% of our max, and they're usually done for doubles, right? We do 2 reps. Some of my really advanced people do phases of 5s, but we're using weights that are generally pretty light. In the cases of those 5s, it might be 25% of their max squat on the bar, and maybe 25% of it in bands or chains added. So we're talking, at most, the heaviest part, 50% of their max squat. Right, so that's not really true heavy rep work. So we do the speed boxes to build the acceleration, right? We build it to learn to set up on a squat, to walk out a squat, to get used to the weight on our back, get used to, pushing back and performing a squat movement. But we're not actually doing it pushing any sort of heavy weight. It's all for building our speed strength, building some of our technique, because the box teaches us to power squat better, teaches us to sit back. All right, outside of the speed boxes, one of the big tools a lot of my lifters use, I don't use them as much these days because I have a lot of other tools available to me, would be good mornings. And you'll see in this clip, you'll see again, client Mike, you'll see client Emma on Team Blaha doing heavy good mornings. All right, I mean, Mike's not playing around there. This is over 300, it's over 250 pounds, and he's doing up to 5 sets of 10 with this on a good morning with a safety bar. Okay, he's a thick, strong guy, and this is how we do it. I have had clients who do up to 365 pounds for sets of 10. All right, we get real strong on our rep work on the good morning. It teaches us to power squat. It builds that hip extension. It teaches us to sit back on that box. Okay, it's a tool that we use to develop that because it teaches us to push the hips back. It teaches us to sit back into a power squat. And it builds a lot of the muscles we need to successfully do that. Okay, so again, it's going to build to some extent the adductors, it's going to build glutes, it's going to build hamstrings, it's going to build erectors. All right, outside of that, we tend to do other hypertrophy work. So when we start thinking of leg work, we think more like a bodybuilder in this regard. You'll notice everyone does the widest stance they have available. Like you'll see Michelle there doing leg presses. She's on the edge of her leg press slide, right? If she had a wider slide, we do that. Toes are out slightly. Her toes are actually off the edge of the slide. We go as wide as possible because it recruits the most muscles throughout the lower body. So we'll use tools like that. We'll use tools like a hack squat machine if it's available. Preferably the belt squat, which again you'll see me use. You saw me use it at the start. You'll see Mike use it. And not everyone has access to this. I have a few clients who do though, and we use the belt squat. I mean, if we have access to it, we're gonna make heavy use of it. This is another good tool, but watch the way Mike uses that belt squat. All right, wide stance, looks like a power squat. Hey, what are we doing with these tools? Well, we're unloading the spine. We're using tools that are easy to recover from. We're thinking more like a bodybuilder and thinking about hypertrophy with these tools. We want to build the quads, the adductors, the glutes. These are the primary movers on a big squat. And actually the quads are the least important of the three. It's not what I say. This is what the research shows. Not saying they're not important. They're just slightly less important than the other two, particularly for a big squat. Again, kind of the reason that, it's been noted that certain body structures, the squat's not that great of a quad exercise because realistically it doesn't do the brunt of the work as much as you would think, particularly for certain builds, longer femored lifters. And for those lifters, we really have to overdevelop the adductors and things, right? In fact, a lot of hamstring is needed for them to go to the squat to get them into the positions that we need to stabilize it correctly. But we do hypertrophy work, so we'll use tools like that. We'll use the belt squat. We'll use a leg press axle. We'll use single leg exercises, such as what you saw Emma doing here. You saw her doing split squats with the safety bar. A lot of people do split squats with the dumbbells, right? Because again, the barbell itself, the straight bar, can get really tedious up there. It can be hard on the shoulders for a lot of lifters. If they're trying to do a low bar position, maybe not so much for a high bar, but we can easily do this stuff with some of these other specialty bars. And so if they have them, we'll make use of it. So we build the primary movers. We get them bigger, we get them thicker, which translates to a higher force production. Okay, this is the way to build a squat, the easy way with low risk of overuse and a way that's easy to recover from. Okay, using these different tools. And this is generally how I do it. And I build strong squatters this way. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.